Desiree Washington. I'm 21 years old and I am from Mobile, Alabama. I came to UWA on like a last minute thing. It was like 2 weeks before school started. So like came here because I had to. My scholarship at the University of Montevallo got taken away. And I had a full ride scholarship here, so it was more of a feasible thing to do. So I'm here, and I really feel like it was God-led because a lot of things that happened in my life have happened because I'm here. I feel as if me as a person, like who I am as a creative, who I am as a spiritual person, who I am as a growing young adult, would not have been this person had I been at another university, especially the University of Montevallo, which is where I was going to go. I feel like I would have been more of a sheltered person. UWA has a way of allowing people to be outspoken fearlessly. So it has allowed me to become myself and evolve into myself without any hesitation of who I was going to be. I would identify myself as a very spiritual person, not as a spiritual person as I'm holier than thou or I know everything, but someone who is constantly seeking truth. So if I had to put myself in context of someone as a spiritual person or define myself spiritually, I would say that I am a young Hebrew seeking truth at all costs. So I believe that I am a Hebrew Israelite, and I believe that people of color, that we of color all are the Hebrews that the Bible speaks of. So when you're reading the context of the Bible, or the Torah as we like to call it, and you read it with the mind of seeking truth, you will see that we are the Hebrews that the Bible talks about. I grew up in a household that has always sought truth. We've always sought out what truth was. And so it was a trial and error process, and it's still a trial and error process of getting to know exactly who we are in the eyes of the Most High. And so through this process of seeking truth, we have tried, like I said, we've tried out different things, and this is where we feel like the Most High has us now. We have finally found identity, if that makes any sense. We found a root somewhere that actually makes sense to us. So I grew up in a household that is just always constantly seeking truth. So it was nurtured. Growing up in my household was different amongst all of my friends, I would say. I grew up in a household that my parents were very patient with us as growing into who we are. We were always nurtured into being who we were supposed to be. Like if I was ever trying to follow a crowd, if ever trying to do something that was not quite me, my parents would literally sit me down and be like, why are you doing this? That's not you. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I grew up in a household that nurtured the weird, that nurtured the different, that embraced your creative side, that made sure that you were evolving at the rate that you personally were supposed to be evolving at. My parents were very hands-on with us. They were very into it with us, like into our growing up process. They wanted to know how your day was, how was life, if you ever had anything to talk about. My parents were literally our best friends growing up, but they knew that they were my parent first and my best friend second. And I think that's what differed between me and a lot of my friends, is that people's parents wanted to be their friend and my parents wanted to be my parent. And in the end, that turned out making them my best friend because they wanted my best. They wanted the best for me. Growing up in my household, being black wasn't a thing that you had to learn to like, or being black wasn't a thing that you had to learn to evolve into. Like I never had to, I never was afraid to be black in my household because it was nurtured, it was embraced, it was who we were. We were identified as black people. My dad let it be known, you can be whatever you want in this world, but always take pride in being a black queen. So growing up in my household, being black was just something that made us feel magical. It made us feel beautiful. It made us feel like it is what it is. And and being Black in that text made us feel like it's something that we all could relate to, because I am the youngest of 6 kids, so I grew up in a big family, and we're all vastly different but so much alike. And so the one thing that we had in common was we are all Black and we are all fighting the same battle, and we have support in that. So growing up Black in my household was a dope feeling. It was something that I can't quite describe, because it was always so like, it's a thing that empowered us as a family, as a unit. I personally hate the term millennial. I hate being identified as a millennial, because I feel like it puts you in a box. But that's where we are. That's our generation. So growing up being Black and in this generation, I feel like you're in a box within a box. You can only do certain things. You're only supposed to be seen this way. You have the cool Black kids and you got the other Black kids, and it's just like identifying yourself in that weird in-between zone. It's like, oh, I like rap music and other stuff like that, but I also like the things that the other Black kids like. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was always in that weird in-between zone in being Black, because I was, like I said, I grew up in a household where we were encouraged to be different, and we were encouraged to be ourselves and be individualized. And so identifying myself in this weird time period of the 2000s, I feel like it's put a bigger strain on Black people. It put a bigger strain on young Black people, because you feel like you have to categorize yourself somewhere. And a lot of us are in this in-between zone. I was always the other kid. Like, oh, you fit in with the cool kids, but you're that other weird kind of kid. So I listened to everything but metal. So I was really into alternative, very heavy, rock, pop, country music was my thing and still is my thing. Rock, pop, country was my thing, still is my thing. Rap music, of course. But when I say rap music, yeah, I listen to the new age rap music, but really, like, I be bumping 80s rap music in my car. Like, I love 80s. Me and my parents were really close, especially me and my dad, on the musical wave. So I grew up with a lot of Anita Baker, Sade, Prince, the influential Black artists in the Black household. So the things that my parents grew up on in the 70s, 80s, that's kind of where I am. Like, I identify more with that type of music. Country, my favorite group would be Zac Brown Band. Definitely, they've never put out any trash or anything like that. They've always gave this unique, raw, soulful type country music. Love them. Rap, Jay-Z, undeniably the GOAT. Hip hop, Dana Dan. Love Dana Dan. Rock, old school Nickelback. Old school Nickelback before they became sellouts. Alternative music, I'm going to put Frank Ocean in the alternative box. Frank Ocean is my favorite artist to exist. I think that's it. I think that covers it. I am passionate about writing, art, music, anything that is someone expressing themselves. I am very passionate about people. I'm also extremely passionate about education and education reform, and education in urban areas, to be honest.
What do you write?
I am a poet. I am a cheesy, goofy, passionate, dramatic poet. Like I told you, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. So growing up in our household with everyone having bold personalities, it's very hard to get your voice heard. So I used to get composition books, and everybody in my family can tell you about my composition books, and I would write poems in them. If I got frustrated, mad, something good happened to me, anything, like any emotion I felt, I would write about it. And this is from like the age of like 4, 5, 6. So like as long as I can remember, I've been writing poems, because it was hard to get your point across. Not that it wasn't nurtured, not that my family didn't want to hear all the good things that was happening. It was just like, sometimes you need to reward yourself. And that was my thing, was getting everything out and making sure I'm heard enough. So I would write poetry, and I've been doing it since a kid. All right, so January 1 of this year, so like the first day, my family brings in the new year with prayer every year, and we do that together. And then I try to find some quiet time throughout that day to pray on my own and ask for guidance of the year, because I'm not one of those people, new year, new me, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really want to know in what steps I should take for the year. So the Most High pretty much told me, I've given you the gift of writing, and I really want you to embrace that. So I did it. I started writing. I started taking it serious. I started making collections of poetry. I started being very open and transparent. And then the Most High also laid on my heart to text people who at the time I really did not have too much contact with. He led me to text them and tell them that they are the ones who inspired me, which they did. They were all artists. They were all dope people. And tell them that they inspired me to be the artist that I am, and ask them to join me. And it started off as like I wanted to do a showcase of my poetry, like just put it out there, because that's what I felt the Most High led me to do, was just to put my poetry out there. And I asked them to do it with me. And then it turned into being everybody being so obedient, and you felt the presence of the Most High there every single time we were together. And it just felt right. And the people who I ended up not really talking to turned into family, and we formed More Love. And I would define More Love as a collective of young Black artists who want to just celebrate and spread positivity and celebrate our culture to other people and to inspire other people. We just really want to spread love and positivity. All right, so the More Love roster includes me as the founder, and kind of like leader of the group. Then you have Alexandria Skipper as a vocalist, Chloe Page as a vocalist, Naya Nettles as a vocalist / poet. She's more of a poet than a vocalist, but she does both. You have Miles Ellis as a rapper, poet, performing artist. He just dropped a mixtape. Y'all go check it out. And then you have Austin Williams, who is a poet, Preston Thomas, who is our second in charge, and he is our band director and saxophonist. Our first show was in March, probably like mid-March. And it was crazy because I thought in planning More Love, like, oh, okay, it'll be like our friends coming to support us. Because our college doesn't have anything like this. This is not the wave that our college is on at all. So not thinking that people were going to come out and support. We had like 100 people there that first night, and it felt really good. All our seats were packed out. People were standing up. The show lasted about an hour and a half, and people really rocked with us for the entire hour and a half, to the point where they were asking for another show. So what I thought was going to be a one-time show turned out to be like a monthly thing for us, which helped us become a family, and also kind of like reminded me that I am on the right path and that I'm being obedient to what Yah has asked me to do. We have had 3 shows. We just recently wrapped up More Love Volume 3. It's really dope to see Black artists come together, not be in competition, not be in battle with each other at all, but to genuinely support each other. And that's dope to me, because you see society tell us so many times that Black people don't support each other, but More Love as a group, as a collective, we are a walking testament that we do support each other, and we just need more of that. So we didn't talk very much. Chloe and I had previously been friends, so we went through a rough patch in our friendship, and that was kind of like a unified story for a couple of the people in the group. Everybody kind of was doing their own thing. It wasn't really any hard feelings towards anybody in the group. They just weren't a part of it. No one was a part of each other's immediate friend group. The only person I can say that I talked to on a daily basis in that group would have been Austin. but I had no hard feelings towards anybody else in the group. But now those will be people I will identify as my closest friends. And that's just a testament of being obedient to what the Most High has told you to do. And I feel like everybody in the group can say the same thing, that we have really formed a genuine friendship with each other, and not just one or two of us, like, oh, we hang out in this group and we hang out in that group and we just only really talk to each other when it's time for a show or time for practice. No, like, we genuinely hang out on a, oh, what are y'all doing type basis. We have a group message and iMessage. We also have a group Snapchat, and we just silly together. Like, it's a judgment-free zone. We really are like a family. Like, they are a true definition of family for me. So I think for me personally, More Love has this weird way. Everybody brings in this different type of vibe, this different type of energy that has molded me into a different person, or more so has allowed me to reflect back on myself, to look at things differently. So like, I learned completely different things from everybody in the group. Like, Preston has taught me perseverance, and Skip has taught me the power of prayer, and Miles has taught me to keep a level head, and Chloe has taught me like what genuine really means, like how to be genuine and transparent as well. I can say the same thing for Naya. She has really taught me transparency in all aspects of life. Also has taught me a lot about patience with people. And I think that's just across the board. They all bring something different to the table. And in the same breath, we all connect on this level of Blackness that we sit around and joke sometimes about, like, growing up Black and how being Black has affected us. And you'll see a lot of times within our group, that one thing has really tied us across the board, because we share this thing so innately that me being Black and them being Black has helped me be who I am, if that makes any sense. Like, their Blackness and how confident they are in different angles has helped me be who I am. I see More Love. I see More Love being just this light on a bigger platform, to be honest. If it doesn't get to a huge platform, if we don't have like 50,000 followers on Instagram, that's fine. My dad says all the time, we are but seed sowers. So as long as we continue to either sow in each other's lives or to sow in other people's lives, and to seek truth as a group and seek love as a group, I think we'll be fine. So like, in the next 5 years, I just see us on a bigger platform than just our university. My favorite part about being Black is that whether we know it or not, we do everything so unapologetically. Like, whether it's making a joke or taking over something or cooking or braiding hair or whatever the craft of being Black may be that the Black person possesses, we do it so unapologetically to the point where we have no choice but to master it. When I think of Black people, I just think of this higher level of something. Like, you're it, you're the top, you are kings and queens, and we do that so unapologetically, and we have this energy about us that's just, we exude this energy that's so unapologetic. Does that make sense? Like, we just exude this Blackness at all times. And I think that's my favorite part about being Black, is that, yes, a skin tone, but it's me. I exude this. I am this. Oh, my Black heroes. My dad, definitely my dad works a lot to provide for his family. He is what is like the epitome of a Black father to me, because he's my best friend. He showed me what true love looked like by loving my mom and by taking care of my family and by opening his doors at his house to our friends, making sure everything is taken care of. And he does that all so caringly. My dad is probably like the most caring person I know. But even beyond that, my daddy cares about us all so spiritually. And he wants us to get to a place where we are seen qualified by the Most High. And so he puts everything on the line to make sure that that happens for us. So my dad is definitely my number one hero. After that, I would probably say, I don't know, it's really a lot of Black people I just really look up to. I don't know if you really know her. Her name is Princess Nokia. I love Princess Nokia. She's just this unapologetic Black girl. Zendaya as well, very unapologetic, very vocal about being Black. And then you go into like historic people. So you have people like Malcolm X. You have people like Marcus Garvey, Stokely Carmichael. You have people like that who have paved different avenues for Black people, and they did it very unapologetically. I really like this question. To be a unapologetic Black girl, it is, I would like to say difficult, but it's not. Because it's just who you are. It's like you step into queenship and then you get shit done. Like you just have to get it done. So to be an unapologetic Black girl is probably one of the dopest things that I could be. It's just because I get to be me all day long, and I get to know that I'm sure. When I step, I know I'm stepping correctly, and I know whenever I give somebody something and I explain something to somebody, I'm doing it to the best of my ability. So being an unapologetic Black girl to me is all I can be. I am unapologetic about how kinky curly my hair is. I am unapologetic about my ethnic features. I am unapologetic about slang and about how I speak more Ebonics than English. I am unapologetic about educating myself and everybody else around me, whether they want to hear it or not, about inequality. I am unapologetic about being vocal about my people. I am unapologetic about helping my people and helping my community. I am unapologetic about being Black. Today's society is a lack of togetherness. It's a lack of love. It's a lack of guidance. And ultimately, it's a lack of truth. No one wants to be honest. No one wants to really seek answers. But instead, what we're doing is coddling people, and we're masking a lot of things to make people feel like they are doing the right thing, instead of being brutally honest and holding people accountable. And that's our issue, is that we don't have any accountability right now. I have no feelings towards Donald Trump at all. I have no emotions towards him. I have no respect for him. I have no regard towards Donald Trump at all. Next question. So the Black theory for me is a series debunking theories that people have about Black people, growing up in the South as a Black person. Like all these weird, don't know where they came from ideas that people have about Black people. I want to allow Black people to speak for themselves. So the Black theory for me has been a journey of allowing people to speak their own story unapologetically. I hope to accomplish people knowing that Black people are vastly different, but we are all so much of the same, if that makes any sense. You have different types of Black people, but at the end of the day, we are all Black, and we shall be bonded by that. So with the Black theory, I just want to shed truth. I want to bring light to our community, and I want to give a platform for us to be able to share our uniqueness while having being Black in common. So this past summer I traveled to South Africa, Hout Bay, Cape Town, South Africa to be exact. And it was a beautiful experience. One of my advisors here actually sent me the opportunity to go. He knows I want to teach on a global scale one day, like whenever I retire. I want to teach on a global scale, but in communities of color. So he sent me the opportunity. I raised the money. I went, and I'm very thankful that I got to go, because one thing for sure, two things for certain, Black people are universal. We are very universal. The same things that we do in Mobile, Alabama on a Saturday morning are the same things that they do in Hout Bay, Cape Town on a Saturday morning. I thought going over there I would be very much so intimidated by being around Africans, around what some would say are true Black people. And then I realized when I got there, we aren't different. I am just as true of a Black person as you. And here we are doing the same thing at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are so much alike, and there's so much that connects us. It's more that connects us than what it is that differs. So it wasn't intimidating being around them. I felt very much so at home. I bypassed a lot of opportunities. Like, I bypassed going skydiving and going here and going there and doing all the extra stuff on a Saturday to get my hair braided, and to just sit and be in that company and like eat barbecue, or braai as they call it, and just be around my people and to spend my time in that community. So the differences, I would guess, between being Black in America and Black in Africa, or in South Africa, because I can't speak for an entire continent, but in Cape Town and Awa, would be, I feel like they know community. I feel like they have a true sense of loving each other, supporting each other, looking out for each other, and genuinely embracing everyone of color that they come into. I remember like being out one day or one night and telling someone that I met there, this feels like home. Like, Cape Town feels like home. I can see myself living here. He goes, it's because you are home. And that to me was just like a verbal embrace. Like, you see me, but you see me. Like, you recognize me. Like, the Black in me recognized the Black in you. And it made us like, I realized how one we were. So that would be a difference, is that they're very, they know community. They know each other. They look out for their people. And not saying that we don't do that in America, but it's on a heightened level there. I feel like everyone is on that wave there, as well. We are looking to rebuild that type of community here. It was very religion tolerant there. You have Christians, you have Muslims. I'm sure you had some of other faiths as well. And no one, even traveling through like the Middle East and stuff like that, everyone was pretty much tolerant of everybody else's faith, of great respect to everybody else's faith. No one looked at you sideways for having on a job, or like looked at you weird if you wanted to pray to Allah. Like, no one looked at each other in a, oh, that's what you're doing type of way. Everyone was like, I respect you for your faith. And that was beautiful to me, being in the airport in Qatar, having like passing by different prayer rooms and seeing people have on different garments and just being so them and being very strong in their faith. And everybody kind of was just like, okay, I see you, I respect you, I am not threatened by you. And I think that probably was the dopest thing of my trip, was seeing everybody be so tolerant of each other without fear. My favorite moment in Africa would definitely be the second day of teaching there. Both of my girls were pretty much excited to have me, and I remember one of my girls telling me that She wanted to go to school in the United States because she wanted to be like me, that I inspired her. And that to know that even in that small period of time, the words that I spoke to someone and the seed that I planted or started to plant, watching that evolve within her for that time period of me being there. I think that had to be definitely my favorite part. I miss them like every single day.
Do you stay in contact with the people that you talk, the girls that you talk?
Yeah, I write both of my girls probably once a month. The company that I went with, One Heart Source, was really good about keeping us in contact as much as we wanted to be. So I do stay in contact with them. They are like, I absolutely love them. So of course, like it's never a moment that I don't want to like be in contact with them or talk to them. I am so appreciative now of my education and the opportunities that I am granted through my education now that I have been to Africa. Anybody who knows me knows, like, last semester didn't want to be in school, could care less about school, had a very hard time finding motivation to even go to class because I couldn't see a purpose anymore. I was on burnout. It just wasn't a thing for me. And going to Africa this summer and seeing them stay after school for the enrichment program and for me and to want me to teach them and to be excited to get all their quizzes right and be excited and ecstatic to learn everything that I wanted to teach them really lit a fire in me, like, oh, you have something to prove, because if you are not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your students moving forward. Black education is vital, but it is overlooked. When we look at things on a global standpoint, it's easy for people to hop on the police brutality bandwagon or hop on the mass incarceration bandwagon, and these are all issues that need to be addressed. Do not get me wrong. They are very vital issues that have to be addressed, but we fail to address the early issues. So we fail to address one of the major issues we see in the Black community, which would be education, which we have schools that are underfunded, underrepresented, understaffed. You don't get the same opportunities at this school. Your books are old. No one's looking at you to give you a scholarship. Your test scores are low. No, you don't have really qualified teachers there. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have what these children need in this community. And that all goes back to we as a people have to pour back into our community more often. There needs to be more Black teachers. There needs to be more Black doctors. There needs to be more Black lawyers. All of that, because that is what our children need to see. And education comes from many different forms and not just school. Schooling and education are two different things. So we do need to address the education system as of schooling in our communities, but we also need to realize that as other professionals in the Black community, we still have a job to educate our youth. Accountants need to educate. Lawyers need to educate us on our rights. People who are in financing, they need to educate us on how to build our credit back up. It is things that we as a community can all educate our youth on, and we have to start pouring back into our own community.
Talk a little bit about Davidson.
My high school? I went to a very mixed high school. Very mixed, but we did have a large African American population. I went to W.B. Davidson High School in Mobile, Alabama. Best school I probably could have ever went to. I loved my alma mater. Davidson did a really good job at allowing us to see multiple sides of everything. So you had kids from everywhere in the city of Mobile, and Mobile is a pretty nice sized city. It's not a really big city, but it's not a small city either. It's nice size. So you got to see people from every walk of life. You had poor kids, rich kids, middle class kids, kids who work and kids who had kids. You had all of these things, and it allowed us to work together on this I respect you level. Davidson did a really good job at allowing us to respect each other, to not look down on each other, and giving people opportunities to build themselves up into something else. As a black student at a predominantly white institution, let me change that. At a historically white institution, it has been a beautifully wicked journey. It has been beautiful in the sense of I got to learn how to be unapologetically black in the face of a micro white America. But it has also taught me that not in every situation is your blackness going to be accepted, but you be black anyway. So being black at PWI, I couldn't see myself going anywhere else. Honestly, I would love to have went to HBCU and be surrounded by my people. I would have loved to pour my money back into institutions that were created for me, but that wasn't the journey that I was supposed to take. And I'm glad that I'm here. I've met some really dope people while I'm here. And I've gotten to start a BSU while I'm here. I've gotten to embrace more love. I've gotten to be black at this institution. Have I faced some challenges in me being black? I have. But do I take any of them back? I do not. I'm thankful for everything that I have faced in my journey of being here. People tend to say you don't get a true black experience at a PWI. And I don't agree, because I feel like wherever you are, your 20s, as long as you are seeking, your 20s are a time for you to really, really be black. Like you are this is it. You're an adult. You're not seen as a child anymore. You are really black. So you embrace everything it is to be a black adult, like getting pulled over by the cops. You feel that fear, you feel that tension. It's not a kid who's eating a Happy Meal in the back seat anymore. You really are by yourself on a back road in a country town with a white cop standing in your face with a light. You know what that's like now. So it's not about being at a black institution or being at a white institution that makes you black or that makes your experience any blacker than the other. It's about how you choose to embrace what you are. Being a black woman, a young black woman, which I'm sure I probably haven't even faced the worst of it yet, the scariest moment I've had is realizing during this past election, the people that I've grown up with and call my friend and have shared so much with in life, realizing that they look at me like I'm just another black person in America was very damaging and scary all at once. So like watching this past election season happen, watching someone who built an entire campaign on hate take over, and being on a predominantly white or historically white campus during that time, with people riding around with American flags on the back of their car, and Police Lives Matter flags on the back of their car, and getting on Facebook and watching people that I've really shared my life with and being white, and you didn't realize we're so vastly different because of our color. Like watching how they reacted to the things that were being said during this election really took a toll on me emotionally. So I found myself and my friends checking on each other a little bit more during this election time. Like, are you okay? How are you feeling? Because you were literally looking people in their face and they were telling you, you're black. I do not like you. So I read this post one time that depicted what white privilege was very beautifully. So I will verbally depict what white privilege is to you guys. You have a row of students on the front row and a row of students on the back row. The trash can is 3 feet away from the row of students on the front row and 10 feet away from the people on the back row. They ask everyone to ball up a piece of paper and to shoot it in a trash can. People on the front row obviously made it. People on the back row, between paperweight, gravity, all that jazz, along with distance, could not make the shot. Maybe one out of the entire row made the shot. That is white privilege. You don't see it because you're already ahead. And no one is going to make that shot from the back unless fate is on their side or unless they work their behinds off to make that one shot. But you all in the front row made it, and you want to look on the back row and ask, why can't they? That is white privilege. We as Black people in America, we have something to prove. So you have to work twice as hard. That first level of hard is the actual work, but that second level of hard is me proving to you that I've worked that first level of hard. So I have to work twice as hard to get half. So you have Black people who are literally driving themselves crazy to get something that is handed oftentimes to the opposite race, to white people. You have people who are working extremely hard, who deserve the best and cannot get that. And then that's where the battle of equity comes in. Like, we are fighting so hard to get what we deserve. And that shouldn't be the thing. So that's where I am, is that we're not really fighting for equality, we're fighting for equity. My name is Desiree Washington, and this is The Black Theory.